What's up, guys? We're gonna real beast today. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make a guitar melody sound a little bit more believable. If you guys haven't subbed already or turned post notifications on, you should do so because it does help a lot. Let's hop right into it. So I'm not gonna waste no time. So pretty much what I want to do is hyper focus on this bass, because what I wanted to do is figure out, okay, how do we make these melodies, when you, at least when you click in, sound more believable? Because we have the samples and stuff, right? But something is missing. And so basically I was just doing a little session, practicing guitar pretty much, and I played this. Okay, nothing crazy, but I was trying to figure out, okay, so how do you make this in your DAW, right? Like, how do we replicate this, right? And there's some things I found out. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and just click here. So you double click, right click, and then go to edit and pitch editor to get to this new tone. And then you can kind of see what's really going on behind closed doors, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and click this button to send this to the piano roll. And then we can kind of show you the little keys that you need to take note of in order for this to sound as realistic as possible. Okay, so now before we actually fix this up so we can actually make a melody with it, I want you to take note of some things, right? So most people, when they make a bass, right, it's very, very like stiff, right? It's not a lot of movement. It's pretty much something like this, right? Just one example, right? And they may put like a note or two here, right, for a bass line, which is fine. But if you want it to sound convincing, this is not fine. And there's some things I want you to know, pretty much two things actually. So it's how active the bass actually is, right? So I'll play this one, and of course this one's gonna be off, but I'll play the normal one, the realistic one, right? And we play this. Okay, and of course we need to do some processing, and I'll show you that later, but I just want you to see the difference yourself. Okay, so you can see how active. So make sure you're making these active, right? Because your top melody or your main guitar doesn't need to carry the melody every time, right? You know, people do this. Just put one here, and offset them like this. And this is pretty much how most guitar melodies are made nowadays, right? Just a little example, right? They kind of carry it with the top melody, but really, you don't need to do that. So now this second part is this right here. This is the most important part if you want this to sound believable. And this doesn't need to be in key, but it would help. And I'll play the original. Right? Now, if we take this out and just do this, it's kind of dry now, right? So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and kind of fix these up. I might fast forward through it because it's pretty easy. I'm just kind of moving these around. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and you can kind of see what it sounds like fixed up. All right, so we back, and I just fixed it up. And there's some things I want you to notice real quick, right? So with this little pattern, right, this note, the transition note, right, does not need to be in key because this is not in key, right? So don't be afraid to put this one little note here. So I'm gonna play the whole thing, and I'm gonna play the original first. I'm gonna play this one so you can just pay attention to the rhythms. Right, sounds a lot better than just a straight note. Okay, so that is the bass. And then we also have to do processing, but I'm gonna go ahead and we can kind of throw down a melody here so we have something to work with. All right, so once you get your bass line ready, you get it active, and you got these, I guess, transition patterns in there, your bass should carry the melody, right? So you shouldn't have to do much after that. So this is the guitar I'm using for like the mid melody or whatever. So I believe this is in a E major. I think it's an E major. I'm gonna just roll with this. Pull it down. Okay, yeah. All right. So we're gonna go in here, and we just start on the root note, simple as that. Make this a little bit bigger for you. And we're just gonna make a quick little melody. It doesn't need to be anything crazy. Let's see. Then let's skip the chord down as if we're making a chord. And it sounds trash right now, but keep in mind we still need to add processing. So let's go down like this. Let's use this minor, this G sharp minor chord. Let's pull this over, pull that up, and that's in the wrong spot. Right, and that's a quick way you can kind of construct a melody, right? Because if you just seen it like this, you probably wouldn't even realize that this is a full chord, right? So let's pull that up, let's copy it over, and we can kind of make it different over here just for variation, because this is gonna loop. So let's pull this G. Okay, that'll sound pretty decent. Stretch these out. This one doesn't need to be. All right, let's listen to the whole thing. Okay, and I will use this as the mid. So let's go ahead and do the higher guitar right here. All right, so this is just a copied version of our first guitar, and let's just go in here. And real quick, a trick that you can use, okay, you can go back, if you're really struggling, you can go back and look and see wherever you want to start your melody. So I'll listen to it and see where. So definitely here is a great place because it's kind of empty. So you can look at the notes that are there and you can kind of use those notes, right? And we can check, what is this? We could check this as well. So the B, so we can start with the B. So let's maybe offset it like this. So what you want to do is copy whatever note you placed and pull it up an octave. And you can kind of play off of this. And we can maybe do a flam. Let's try this. Okay, I like that combo a lot better. So we can copy this pattern over and let me center this for you. So now we can just move these notes around. So I'm gonna move this down. So this is the G sharp. And then we can just kind of play around and see what notes sound better. So you can use the G sharp or the F sharp for your lower note. So we can just see which one sounds better, or at least what sounds better to me. Okay, I really like that, so I'm gonna keep it. So whatever would work for you, you can just change the notes around, but you can see this pattern is still the same. So I'm gonna copy this over, and now we are done. So now we can go on to processing it, and this processing part is very important. It's really gonna make your stuff sound realistic. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so now let's do the effects. Now I want to stress how important the effects are, okay? Because a lot of people have dry melodies, and they forget to put effects and stuff to make it like add some flavor to it. So I'm gonna play it dry right now. All right, not bad, right? Now keep in mind, this melody is super simple, right? This is pretty much just a bass line, regular bass line, but we just made it active by putting rhythm in it, and then we put these transition patterns, right, to make it feel a little bit more realistic, as if you were playing like a real bass, whatever. And then we just put these simple notes in. Keep in mind, there are no chords in here at all, okay? And we threw this in here, and then we got us a little full melody just with these simple notes, right? So let's go in here. And these are the effects that I'm using, and I just purchased this. And if you play guitar or something, this is goated. This is one of the best guitar amp plugins that I've gotten, right? And it's the cheapest one too. Okay, so this is the plugin I'm using, not the plugin, the preset I'm using for my bass, and this is the closest I could get it in a short time frame to the one that I had. I couldn't quite get it exactly, but this is what I'm using. Okay, So I'm gonna just play it real quick so you can hear it. And I cut out some of the bass. And let's mute that. All right, you can see a dramatic difference. Now I have this up because if you have stock plugins only, this is all you have. This is something great that you can use. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, I don't know any presets. I don't use this. I haven't touched this plugin in like 4 years since I had FL, okay? I don't know any presets in here. I'm not gonna sit up here and lie, okay? I don't know, okay? So you can go through here, there's 98. You can go through and see which ones you like, which ones you prefer, but this is a plugin that is in FL that you can use. Let's move on to this one, and this is the preset I have for this, the Jazz Room. Okay, this is more like a ambient reverb for my mid. All right, and I'll play that all together. Okay, so that is my mid guitar, and now we have this one. And you can see with my EQ here, I kind of boosted it up a little bit just so it's, I don't know, it just stands out a little bit more. And this is the preset Raw Crunch. All right, and you can kind of look at it. So I'm gonna go out of here and we can play it. And make sure it's on. How dramatic that is of a difference, right? So that is it for this video. That's all I want to show y'all. So remember, you don't have to do a whole bunch of chords and stuff just to make a good guitar melody. Sometimes you could just make your bass very active, because you listen to a lot of songs, a lot of times the bass is really what's carrying, right? It's just people get so caught up in their top melody that they forget the lower tones, right? But that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Make sure y'all like and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.